You're listening to the Blunders and Flagons podcast.
Evening, folks. Here's your ale, cider, and, special splash edition.
Careful, Fred. You're carrying that like it's a stack of pancakes on a windy day.
Just don't drop mine again. I'm still sticky from last time.
But if he drops the old gadget, I've got reflexing like a pie-eating champ.
Well,
Boy me curly toe hair, you're worse than a snowball fight in me gaffer's wake.
oh, so sorry. It's just these mugs are slippery tonight.
Oh, slippery mugs.
Yeah.
Fred, you've got excuses better than Farmer Maggot's dog.
Can we just toast and call it a night before Fred floods the place?
See? No disasters this time. Whoa! I'm all right.
A pie-eating champ you or not. But you've got the heart of one.
Welcome to Blunders and Flagons, the podcast where flimsy meets adventure in the world of Middle-earth. I'm your host, Drew, and I'm going to be introducing us on this epic journey filled with laughter, questionable decisions, and a fair share of hobbit-sized antics. And I am playing Banjo Groman. And I'm going to be doing lots of antics today, and hopefully I'll finally get to bring home a duck or a bird or a little tiny thing that used to be alive. Now, with me today, I have Jerry.
That's me! I'm Jerry. I'm playing the lovable Barty Took, a lad who decides he likes to LARP as a hobbit most of the time. All the time, rather. And, if you didn't know, I didn't either. I don't have any special facts at all. I'm boring.
That's fine.
My name is Daniel, and I play the very level-headed and cool-thinking Barry Bramblefoot. He's a bit of an older hobbit, older and much wiser than the two young upstarts. And one interesting fact of him is that his favorite flower is a marigold. He loves marigolds very much, and whenever he finds one, he definitely will go out of his way to pick one and bring it home to his wife.
His wife, Marigold.
We're using that, right? Like, you're going to find marigolds all over the path at some point, and it's just going to be your
stuffing it in a sack.
Mission to get every single marigold in this expansive acres field.
It's going to take us an entire episode to pick them.
Frolicking through a field, picking hundreds of marigolds. He's on a side quest. Quest.
Yep.
Well, I'm David, and I am the lore master around here in Blunders and Flagons, and we'd all like to welcome you to Session 4. Today, my special fact, my secret fact, what's the fact? It's a fun fact. It's a fun fact.
It's supposed to be
It's
a
a
fun
special secret fun fact.
Jeez. The fun fact is that Rumbold is actually very secretly a collector of memorabilia, particularly butterfly memorabilia.
Okay, you know what that makes me think of?
He loves butterflies. They are
That's hilarious. I like him.
I love it.
just the greatest thing. They light up his world. He's a big fan.
That tracks.
And Vladimir collects ceramic unicorns.
You can't call out my inspiration for these things.
Sorry. Love it.
Anyway,
Totally original.
I guess it would be the third-ish day of our adventure here. Not that it really matters. It's actually towards the beginning of the day. You have gotten up, and we are now looking straight ahead at Bindbull Wood. And the sun has been up for a couple hours. So my question I'd like to pose to the party is, what's the plan?
Gotta go in there and get those mushrooms, you guys.
Right. We could. There's a lot of stuff back there, though. A lot of things we don't right know about. How do we know what mushrooms to get? Are we? I thought the original plan was to follow Miss Boffin herself, but I haven't seen eye nor ear of her. What are we supposed to do once we get past those yon large twigs?
Well, I reckon we could keep an eye out and see if we hear tale or woods of her. I'm sure a hobbit to a hobbit can't be, that hard to find in a forest as big as that. I mean, surely we could come across her at some point.
Right, I'm going to defer to Mr. Herbalist here and see what he's got to say, because I imagine he's got more knowledge in mushrooms and stuff than either you or I. Although, I might add, if there's something yon vermin over there, you could certainly help out. Banjo.
And it's true. Start twirling my fan.
Okay, why would you say it like that?
Well, I appreciate that. Clearly you lads are starting to learn to respect the wisdom of your elders. That's my important lesson to learn. Now, listen here. I think, obviously we know, that Miss Gerda, she comes from her home, which we know is in Overhill. What I think we should do is we should sort of kind of try to intercept where her path might lie, because we know she also comes down near the Binbo Woods. I'd say we kind of scout around, approach the wood from the direction of Overhill, and we should see what we should see, I suppose. I'd probably be able to pick up her track, when I wander around the woods and the thickets and the hills around the Shire, I confess, and don't share this information, mind. I don't want to cause my wife any undue worry or concern, but there have been occasions where I've completely lost myself. Just had no utter clue where in the Shires I am, and so I've had to develop a knack for figuring out where I've been and kind of backtracking. I look around for a broken leaf, a broken blade of grass, a bent twig, things like that. So I have a bit of a knack for seeing if a body's been through or not. So I'm hoping that might come in handy. We'll see. So that's I say that might be a good plan. I don't know. What do you lads think?
Well, the original faith I had in you has definitely dropped significantly.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wait, what?
Banjo says that what you says is what Banjo says.
Well, that's grand, Banjo. That's just grand. You're a good lad.
Thumbs up from Banjo.
It gets a big thumbs up from Banjo.
In order to approach Bindbull Wood, you basically walked up the path from Hobbiton to Overhill. And so you essentially follow the path until it reaches a point where it kind of diverges. There's not exactly a walking path specifically cleared towards Bindbull Wood. It's not a place where people walk through and go for thoroughfare. The North Road is kind of across the water, and most people don't even come near the Bindbull Wood. Based on your skills and the fact that you're fairly observant hobbits and you're actually looking for a path, you can find like a slightly worn walking path towards Bindbull Wood. And it just goes in the general direction north. It's not super duper clear. In fact, it's basically just a slightly lower field of grass. But you can see, it's almost like a part of hair. There's a path to walk in the grass of Overhill towards Bindbull Wood.
Is that a path right there, boys? Is that... I can't tell rightly.
Looks like it goes straight into the forest.
I think that might be our path, lads. Let's check it out.
Right, you lead the way, Barry. Shut up, Banjo.
Today, Junior.
You follow this slightly worn kind of field path to the edge of the woods. And as I intimated at the end of last episode, it does strike an imposing figure. None of you have ever seen the legendary Old Forest, but you've heard the tales that these forests were once connected. Bindbull Wood used to be connected to the Old Forest, and from the stories you've heard about the Old Forest, it's not a place where you would want to walk into unprepared, and you certainly would want to be on your guard. Now, the Bindbull Wood doesn't have quite as dark a reputation, but it is certainly a wave of fear kind of washes over you, even as you see these mostly bare branches, and of course there's some pine and fir trees that still have green on them. But being as it's late fall, all the leaves on the trees that have those have fallen and are washing the fields with a gold and amber hue. As you approach the forest, the path kind of suddenly dissipates. There's no longer the clear grassy walkway that you were able to see. And so I do want you now to go ahead and make a hunting check just to see if you can kind of catch your bearings or figure out whereabouts Gerda, if she took this path, would be entering into the forest.
Okay. You want me to do that?
Sure, if you'd like to lead the party in that.
I would want Barry to do that for us.
Okay. I don't know what kind of bonus I might have or anything like that, but...
for hunting?
So for purposes, I mean, not to get too much into the nitty gritty, basically for the purpose of the mechanics of this game, you're all basically commoners at this point.
Sure.
So we'll flesh these things out, but basically nobody's going to have a specifically better bonus. So
all right.
Basic.
Good to know.
Sweet. Oh, 16.
Okay. Without much difficulty, you do find what you believe is a fairly clear path into the Bindbull Wood.
All right, lads. I think I see a way through here. You'll notice. Look closely, lads. Look closely. You notice this twig right here. You see how it's broken there? Yeah, dangling by a strand. And look over here. You see it's just a hint of a footprint. I believe this might be the path that our
right.
Miss Buffin might be taking.
Right, she was up an awful lot earlier than we were.
She probably got her start before the sun even rose.
Ugh, I hate that.
So with that much of a success on your check, you see footprints in soft dirt going in, but none coming out yet. So you're pretty able to discern that she's likely still in here gathering mushrooms or on her way back out.
Ooh.
Aye, lads, it appears, if you'll notice, these footprints do not lead back out, so I think our Miss Buffin is still inside the forest. We should be very careful. Who knows what... I suspect she probably doesn't want to be in the forest for too long. So the fact that she hasn't emerged yet and it's getting on in the morning, it's a little bit worrisome. So be on your guards. Be very careful. I've heard tale of wolves in these woods. I haven't seen any for myself, but we best be keeping a sharp eye out.
Right. Or, if we didn't want to go into the woods for whatever reason, we could also wait for her to come back out. Right? Yeah.
Oh, nonsense. Hey, you pick up that big axe and I'll pick this sling. Soon as we see 2 pairs of eyes or more, we start swinging.
Do you even know what a wolf is, Banjo?
Yeah, of course. It's this big old, well, of course, it's in the woods. And
right.
It's got teeth and eyes and... Well, it's a wolf.
Right. So, it's basically like you then, because all those things are you, and me, and Barry.
Behold a chicken.
Right. Well,
wait, it's the other way, but it's behold a hobbit.
You've got a point, Banjo. We do have courage on our side. I say off with us.
Off with us indeed. And I put a pebble directly in my sling. I'm ready. I'm so spooked. I don't like this. You guys.
So what manner would you like to proceed? Are you trying to pay close attention to the path and watch out for that? Are you trying to be quiet in your movement to prevent attracting attention? Are you trying to go as quickly as possible to get where you're going faster? What's what way do you approach this?
Lads, I'm thinking, as we come in, we're not going to be able to see much because of the woods. I think we should try to be a lot more quiet than we usually are when traveling. I'll go first. Barry, can you go behind me? And if you see the path branch out or if I miss something, can you let me know?
Oh, I can do that for sure. Certainly.
And Barty,
I'll be the vanguard.
you'll be the strong vanguard. If anything
Right.
comes up behind or you hear anyone coming, you let all us know.
Barty takes a big breath, steels himself, puts a scowl on his face, and shoulders his axe.
Let's go. And I advance cautiously, definitely trying to make more of an effort to look and be quiet more than hurry or anything like that. I'm basically looking more ahead than anything, and hoping that if anything I miss, Barry will pick up, but trying to follow the hints that he's given me so far. And oh, I see a bit of a branch here. I see that snapped in half, just like you said, Barry. I'll go up this way.
So you've already had a resounding success on your hunting check. Everybody please make a stealth check to see how the party does as you proceed through here, if you're able to maintain that level of quiet and stealth that we're looking for here.
We got an 18, a 4, and a 14. And our leader rolled a 4.
Hey, I tried.
Well, he's getting help. He's getting help from me, so that should help.
Technically, I should be 20.
So essentially you are able to follow the path very closely, and with the help from oh man, these names are gonna kill me. With the help from Barry, you are able to follow the path quite closely, and you round a particularly large tree, and you begin to walk by when you hear a voice. Gerda is standing with her back to the tree as Banjo passes, and suddenly he hears and turns and sees her. Have you been following me into the wood?
No, we were following that hobbit over there.
Points to me behind the line.
You, Bertie, you scoundrel, we've been looking all over for yous.
What?
I don't get to rush to him and grab him by the shoulders. Oh, Barty, I'll give him a hug. Oh, Barty, you've... Do I need a roll for that?
Go ahead and make a deception check. Yeah.
Yep.
Is she gonna buy this just straight up?
Go ahead
oh,
and
okay.
make a deception check.
For sure, yeah.
That definitely sounds likely.
I did
That tracks,
twice,
that
and
tracks.
it wasn't good. Please let this one be good.
Oh!
I rolled a 19, good
Nice.
sir.
Take that. Let's see how gullible she is.
Well, what are you doing in the wood? It's quite dangerous out here, and there's not much foraging left to be had, I've got to say.
Right, well, I heard that there was good wood in this woods where you can get wood for burning, firing things. You know.
Oh, well,
He's right.
True enough. There are some deadfall and such.
As she rambles on, I just start
keep going.
picking up sticks off the ground.
Yeah, so he came in here to get the wood, and we came to get him to get the wood. See?
She kind of squints a little bit. Sure, of course. You notice that she has a very large basket for a hobbit slung over her arm. It's covered with a large towel, a dish towel, but you can clearly smell an earthiness just seeping out from this basket, and it is full and overflowing. And you could tell when she said there's not much foraging, you're not sure she was completely being honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, most of the driest wood is off in that direction. She points to the east. And there's a bit of a footpath apparently you can follow. But do try to be a little more quiet. You see, there have been some who've spotted wolves in these parts.
Better,
and
you
it
were saying the same thing.
would be a shame to run into such creatures. of course, as loud as you all are, they'd probably run off first, thinking it was a herd of olifants.
What's an
anyway.
olifant?
What's that?
I've heard they're a large creature.
Big?
Anyway.
Like wolf big or bigger than wolf?
It's an elephant.
I think they're a little smaller than a wolf, but I'm no animal expert.
Right, you're a foraging expert, aren't you? You got a basket of weeds there. My buddy Barry here, he's a weed picker too.
Well,
I don't know about that, lad. Weed pickers are a rather derogatory term. I prefer herbalist myself. I did notice that you seem to have quite the load there. I've got a satchel myself that's quite empty. I'm hoping to fill it up. What kind of a crop do you be finding in here?
well, I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Gerda Boffin, of Boffin's Crock. Yes. Of course, unfortunately, there's not many mushrooms around here. I would look on the west fields if I were you. They tend to grow on the rocks and underneath the ground in places of that sort. But yes, here I've got some clods, some poor harvest. In any rate, yes.
If that's a poor harvest, Barry, you're bad at your job.
I see that. Yes, she's got quite the load there for a poor harvest.
Well, I do have an exclusive agreement with the Green Dragon. I do provide them with all of their mushrooms for the crock, and of course they've named it after me, and I receive a small portion of the profits in return for my hard work. At any rate, you all aren't, well, never mind. I've got to go. They're waiting for the harvest, and I've got these small trifles to bring to them. So I must bid you adieu.
Wait just 1 second, Miss Boffin. Wait 1 second, all right? He grabs Banjo. I grab Banjo and Barry by the shoulders and bring him over to the side, kind of like a sidebar thing. Did we have a plan if we were supposed to run into her? What are we supposed to do?
I didn't know what we were gonna do. I know this was the whole quest, but I have no idea what we're supposed to do now that we have Edge. I was like, I don't know. I have no idea.
It's the classic situation where you chase a tiger and you try to catch it by the tail, and then you figure out, so what do we do now?
We didn't think we'd make it this far. Anybody have rope?
What I was thinking earlier was something about getting her to kind of sympathize with us in our situation and tell her the truth. I mean, my grandma says, the truth will set you free, and maybe, we could do that, and then we can get out of this wood. I want to get out of this wood.
You're the most pathetic of us three, so you come up with the sub story, and maybe she'll believe you.
Well, listen, the way I see it here, so we have a few different options. We can be honest with her, which might not be a bad idea. I do notice that she's not exactly been honest with us, so she might not totally appreciate total honesty, seeing as how she has a bit of a vested interest in keeping her arrangement and her crop of mushrooms secret. We could be honest with her and tell her what's going on with Sheriff Bolger, even though he told us specifically not to tell anyone about it. I don't particularly mind being on his bad side. He's not exactly capable of what you might say vengeance, I suppose. I'm not sure.
I thought you were going to say running.
But yeah, exactly that too. Also, we could try to reason with her and make a deal with her and negotiate. Try to offer her something in the way of payment or services or something to compensate her for the potential loss of things.
I would like to point out that while we're doing this, we're not exactly being the quietest either. We're just using our normal talking voices 3.5 feet away from her.
Yeah, clearly. Our third option would be not pleasant. I don't really like to entertain this idea, but it is an option. We could trip into her, or might otherwise do a old bump and grab and try to slip one or more mushrooms out of her bag without her noticing. That might be an option. I'm not sure, but that's the way I see it.
I mean, we can also go to where she said. Do we expect where she told us to go to actually have anything?
I wouldn't believe a word she says. I wouldn't even bother trying. I can tell you this right now, though. Mushrooms do not grow on rocks. No mushroom I've ever seen grew out of a rock. They need moisture, they need soil, and they need shade.
Oh, that's why you're the herb. Okay, good. Because I had no idea anything about any of these.
Yeah, right. That's all right, God.
If
I
I
can
had a
teach ya.
say, which I might, I'd rather us be a little more helpful with her instead of trying to bump and cheat.
Right, so no
But-
cheating. Just be honest with her then.
As you all are discussing your options, about the point where Barry starts talking about knocking her over the head or slipping and bumping into her, you hear a yelp, and she it looks like she's about 5 feet away from where she was standing when you left her. So it appears she was trying to slink away, but she tripped over a root and she went sprawling, and her basket she covers and holds, but a couple of mushrooms tumble out, and they are big as saucers, these mushrooms that she's got. And she quickly stuffs them back under the tea towel. meager harvest. So I am going to go now, and don't you dare try to stop me. My husband knows where I am, and if I don't show up,
Oh no,
I'm going.
Oh, yeah, there she goes, fellas.
So she begins to stomp off, looking over her shoulder. As she walks, she glances over her shoulder towards you with kind of a scowl and a grunt.
Right, so honesty didn't work, boys. We're going to chase her down.
I don't think that's a great idea. Clearly she knows what we're about, and I don't think that further confrontation would be the answer. I say we try to follow her track back deeper into the woods and find where she got those mushrooms.
Put your sling down, Banjo.
Yeah,
Hi.
She
We're
looks
not-
back.
I think I could knock the basket out of her hand, so I really
No.
tried. Oh,
all right. I saw the mushrooms. They're quite noticeable. I don't think we'll have much problem finding them.
What kind of mushroom is it, Barry?
Would I know what kind of mushroom it is, or would it be a new species?
It looked like a right dinner plate to me.
They were white-capped mushrooms. You haven't seen it used. You've seen similar types of mushrooms, but this is one of the biggest varieties that you have ever seen.
it's like super mushroom from
like a
one-
mushroom species that I might have seen, but none that have grown that big, basically.
Yeah, and part of that is due to how much hobbits love mushrooms. So they grow to a certain size and they get picked.
Yeah.
But these appear to have either been cared for closely or put in a. You've seen the most similar ones you've seen have been in mushroom farms, where people pay close attention to and tend their mushrooms very carefully and keep other hobbits away from them. So it's strange that these would be foraged mushrooms.
We're gonna happen upon like a Breaking Bad Winnebago in the middle of this forest where some crazy hobbit is making
It's Bilbo in his
jumbo
underwear.
mushrooms. Yeah, dude, it's just it's Bilbo.
Science, hobbit!
All right. So I noticed that, and I will relate that. All right, lads. I don't know for sure if those mushrooms that she found are exactly wild mushrooms. They could be, I suppose, but for mushrooms to grow that big, they'd have to sit untouched for quite some time. We might be needing to look for some kind of a structure or a fenced-in area or some kind of a farm.
A farm in the middle of the woods.
She might, if she wants to keep it from prying eyes, she might be doing something like that. I suppose. I'm not sure, but that seems rather odd to me that those mushrooms I've never seen a mushroom grow that big without somebody being involved somewhere along the process. So I think we should keep our eyes out for that.
Does a farm leave tracks that we can follow?
Our farm doesn't, but she would.
Oh, true. I didn't think about that.
Well, gentlemen, gentlemen, come on.
Gentlemen, let me check my watch. let us go.
Gentlemen, let us away.
That being said, go ahead and make another hunting roll to see if in the kerfuffle you can pick back up her trail, as she was kind of stopped, and perhaps, who knows, this might be a little bit more difficult, as she could be recovering her tracks as she comes back.
Is Daniel going to roll it? Please say Daniel's going to roll it.
I can, yeah. All right, let's see what we get. No! That's not good. That's not good.
David's ready.
What's not good there? What's going on, Barry? You're having a little trouble finding a place?
That's not good.
So as you feared, it does appear in your searching around, you see a fir branch with lots of tiny needles on it. It appears she had been likely using it to kind of wipe away her tracks as she receded and worked her way out of the wood. So it is much, much harder to find her tracks moving forward. And in fact, as you continue to look, you spend a couple hours searching and moving continually in a northern-ish direction. You seem to be struggling to locate any trace of where she came from.
Oh, I just slumped down on a log. Oh, it's hopeless. I'll never find them mushrooms. How long has it been? It's been days. We've been in these woods for days.
Well, you think you're exaggerating.
I was going to say, you think I've got the imagination.
Well, don't be disheartened.
Do you want to keep looking for these mushrooms there, Barry and Banjo, or do we want to try making our way back and making amends with Mrs. Boffin's crock?
Well, we'd want to either make amends with her or a croc, one or the other.
I'm not so sure, lads. We're looking for these mushrooms, but we have no idea how they factor into the soup itself. We have no idea how they're prepared. We have no idea how long they're cooked, how much of it
It's
goes
easy.
in.
Check it out. You boil them, you smash them, you put them in a stew.
I think you've got mushrooms confused with potatoes, lad.
Oh, that's true.
They're all come from the ground.
Well, I think you need to be sat down and talk a little bit about horticulture, lad, as the study of plants and how they grow. Anyway, more could be said in that, but potatoes.
Horticulture is the study of hobbits with helmets on.
I say.
You know what, lads? It's been a bit. I'm feeling a little peckishy. Get some from my pack and have a snack and talk a little, eh?
You got any more of those pocket sausages?
Oh, I ran out on the way. But I do have any dried meats and fruits. Dried meats and fruits, anyone?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Thank you.
So as you kind of take a break and you found some things that are edible as you've looked around, we'll say with some passive foraging that all hobbits do, being very connected to the earth. And you do notice that you even found a few obviously not as good mushrooms as you were walking along the path. So this does seem like a forest where they can grow, but nothing anywhere near like what you saw tumble out of Gerda's basket. So as you kind of sit here munching, you have a couple options. You can either spend several more hours searching for Gerda's trail. It is still difficult. The DC is higher since you've kind of lost it for a time. But you could still make that check. You could resort to just foraging where you are and try to find as good mushrooms as are available in the area. Or if you have any other ideas, you're free to try to enact those.
So Barty's going to look up at the sky and be like, it's getting about... Actually, what time is it?
Well, you did spend a couple hours. It was probably close to 9 or 10 when you ran into Gerda, and you spent probably 2 hours trying to search for her trail. So it's probably approaching noon by this time.
It's right about noon, I'd say. We've still got half a day if you wanted to keep looking, or we could split up. We could have one person looking and the other people looking at the ground for stuff to eat, or maybe there are mushrooms that just maybe aren't as robust as hers were.
I want to find these mushrooms. Did you see how big they were?
They're bigger than your head, and that's saying something.
So...
It's the deadpan for me.
I don't know. I'm beginning to think these are mushrooms she just conjured out of a tree. I mean,
Playing magic.
surely there's no possible way we can find them just by looking for them on the ground. They've got to be special ones. They were huge.
Well, I think we might be able to look around. We're in the forest now as it is. There's no sense in us turning back and going back to the Green Dragon Inn. So I say we look a little bit more, maybe a few more hours, and see if we can't find her little stash or whatever it might be. Just looking around for mushrooms. And if we don't find anything in a few hours before the sun gets too low, we should head back to the Green Dragon and see if we can find ourselves a bowl of this stew this time, and taste it for ourselves and see what we think of it. Who knows? Maybe we might be able to figure out one or two of the ingredients just by having a bowl of soup ourselves. But we do know where she gets the mushrooms, at least.
I know one of the ingredients for sure. Water.
And water.
That's true. We actually know two. One of them's the mushrooms and water. Very, very good. Rather good.
Ooh, and I think if we pick up foraging here, there, and everywhere, maybe we could even barter some of what we find and give that in exchange for either a look in the kitchen or maybe even a glance in the pot where it's made.
Hi, you're taking a bill from the pocketbook of Barry there. You and your foraging swapping. You're a smart one, lad.
Oh, well, I'll learn from the best lads, eh?
All right, let's get to looking then. Why waste any
all
more
right.
time?
Righto.
So, what are you looking for primarily?
Biggest mushrooms we've ever seen.
I would say we're looking for her
For the
farm.
trail again.
I'm
Yeah, we
looking
wanna
for
look again.
mushrooms. Okay?
Well, we want to do both because on the way, like you said, we have passive foraging, so we want to get some. But what I'm so dead set on finding those because they're huge. I want to find this place so bad. So I'm gonna be primarily.
Okay.
That's my heart is set.
Yeah, but what are you looking for?
Again, I don't think that they're like Barry said. I don't want to presume that they're just around.
Right,
I
but
feel
she
like
might...
they're being hidden, obviously, or
When you have a mushroom farm, they're mostly underground, aren't they? They need darkness and moisture. I know that much.
I've heard tell that you can grow a mushroom out of a log. You drill holes, and you plant the spores of the mushroom inside the little holes you drill into it. It's a bit of a laborious process, but I've heard some farmers had some success with that. They just store the logs in sort of a shaded, damp area, like underneath a tree, which, as you look around, there's plenty of trees around here, lots of places they could be, and there's plenty of trees they could use for logs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we look around a bit, we might pack up her trail, or we might just straight up stumble across what looks like some kind of a forest of mushrooms.
Going along the path, well, there is no path here, but going along the forest floor, searching for obvious places for mushrooms and oddities that stand out to you, go ahead and make a nature check for me.
I rolled a 14.
You search along the forest floor, and your eyes continually are drawn up towards these trees. There's quite a few trees. Obviously, it's a wood. But most commonly, they're they're not too far around that you can't meet your hands on the other side of the tree if you were to give it a hug. As you continue moving deeper and deeper into the Bind Bowl, they get a bit larger. So as you continue exploring towards the center, you find this enormous tree. The three of you couldn't meet your hands if you were stretching as widely as you could. And even if there were 6 of you, you're not sure you could do that. A very large tree, the largest that you have seen, and it definitely attracts your attention. There seems to be a number of brush marks that stand out around the base of this tree. But strangely, you don't see anything else. This tree really stands out to you. It's the largest one you've seen, and the area around it seems strangely clear of debris. You'd have to look closer to see what's going on.
Oh my lands. Look at the size of the tree.
I'm not looking up, I'm looking down. There's nothing underneath it.
What?
Look, there's nothing on the bottom there. Normally, if you look around, there's leaves, there's acorns, there's pine cones. Look around. There's nothing under there.
That's highly irregular. That's tain't natural. Tain't natural, that.
Careful, lads. Something's brewing. I'm gonna load a stone in my sling.
Yeah, do we see, like, the little fur brushes that she was using? Like, something like that?
You don't necessarily see that around. You do see a tree not far away where the branch that you had initially seen could have come from.
Okay.
It's got snapped off area.
So it's possible that it originated here, but there's nothing, there's no like discarded fir branches around the
Is
base
there
of the
like
tree.
distinctive needle marks, like brush marks on the dirt? Or just
As
kind of
you
like
look-
bare dirt?
Yeah, as you look closer, you do see what appears to be kind of brush marks on the dirt around it, almost indicating that there could have been footprints here that were wiped away.
Well, I don't know what's going on there, but there might be maybe something if we climb up it, or maybe it's hollow. I don't know. That's the biggest tree I've ever seen.
Well, give her a knock, but not with your head, mind. With your knuckles.
Silly goose.
Well, you're wearing a helmet. I wasn't sure if you wear the helmet, so you could.
I can knock it with me helmet, not
There
on
you
my
are.
head, of course.
Go for it.
I don't want to break it. It's a bow. It's my mum's best bow.
So why are you wearing it on your head?
Because it's my best helmet now.
It was her best bowl, now it's his best helmet.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, good thing it just wasn't her only bowl.
So Barty walks up, and kind of in the same way that he approached the curtain and the owl, he like uses the butt of the axe to like knock on it and then like scurry back to his buddies.
So when you knock on the tree, you hear a thud.
It's solid.
There's kind of a resounding echo inside of it. It definitely seems to be hollow based on what you found.
That sounds as hollow as me dad said me head is.
I like
That's
that
terrible.
one. That was a good
That's horrible.
one. I like that one. I'm gonna go up to the tree and just start like looking around. I'm like, whoa! I'm super interested in this. I've never seen anything like a fake. What? I don't know what this thing even is.
So this is a live tree, right? We look up and we see branches with leaves.
You do see branches. There's no leaves in it right now. But as I mentioned, all of the leaves in the forest
that's
had
true.
kind of fallen. So from all appearances, it doesn't look particularly decaying or dead. It appears to be a live tree, just happens to be a hollow one.
Well, I've got an axe. You want me to cut into it?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I've got an axe.
Whoa.
We've got a tree.
Whoa!
No.
Put the axe on the ground.
Holds this thing like a gun. It's all floppy.
Stop resisting.
Hold it.
Stop resisting.
So you don't want me to cut into the tree? Well, how do we get into it? Because obviously there's nothing inside there.
If I back up a bit to take a look and try to see if the is the tree so big that it doesn't go like all the way up to a singular point with its branches? Is there does it look like the hollowness of it can be in is there a hole toward the top? I kind of want to take a step back and maybe look closely at the trunk of the tree going all the way up.
So as you step back and you take this whole tree in, it certainly is a majestic tree. It looks almost like a stout warrior kind of reaching out towards the sky and stretching its arms. You don't see anything up at the top that looks like a hollow that it could come into. All the branches kind of make their way and meander out and reach out towards the sky and the surrounding area. But as your eyes follow down towards the base of the tree, there's one section of the trunk that looks pretty strange, almost as if it's bowing in instead of curving around the tree. It just ever so slightly, but as you follow the tree as it meanders down, something odd about one section of the trunk stands out to you.
I just kind of cock my head to the side and I'm just like, what? And I keep my head just like looking like that and my eyes are just all squinted and I just walk up to that area and just like, what in the...
Is it like further up or is it down at the base?
It's down at the base.
Oh.
So as I approach it, I call out to the other bits around me. Short for Hobbit. And I'm like, hey, there's something off. I don't know how to put it, but it's like the tree goes in.
Well,
and just kind of go up to it with my friends.
It's mighty strange, that. Mighty strange indeed. You know, it might be some kind of a secret hidden door or something. I think we should introduce ourselves to this door and see if it'll open. I heard from somewhere, I can't remember where, but secret doors often like to be introduced and be made friends. Something like that. Something about friends, I don't know. But let's introduce it. Hi, Mr. Tree Door. My name is Barry, and I would like you to open.
Right, now who's touched in the head?
I just kind of put my hand against the tree and just see if this part has like a connection, I would say, to the rest of the tree. Like when you said it goes in, I'm just gonna follow where I presume the normal part of the tree to be, and then kind of just with my hands feel towards this weird looking area, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying to feel if there's like an opening or something to grab onto.
Yeah. So as you kind of feel into this sort of recessed area, the bark definitely has a slightly different feel to it, almost as if it's too perfect. And as your hands brush over it, you feel a piece that almost seems like a handle. But as you push against it, it doesn't yield to your push. But when you find the handle that you kind of can slip your thumbs behind and pull out, you feel it sort of release slightly and almost unlatch as you suddenly it swings free. And with that pull, you then can slide it into the tree, and you see now that this is indeed a hollow tree, and perhaps one of the biggest hollow trees you have ever seen in your life. There's a candle right inside the door on the left, but you are just filled with awe as the smell of the musky, earthy scent of mushrooms kind of rolls out of this hollow.
Oh, Banjo, you're brilliant, bugger you.
I can't believe what I'm seeing.
I told you, you need to introduce yourself.
I'm gonna get a flint and steel out and light up the candle. Look at all
Burns the
these
tree down.
mushrooms. Drops it on the floor. Yeah. No, I'm gonna obviously just set it back down. I'm not gonna light it and then hold it like a dum-dum. With my luck, dude.
Why, this tree is bigger than Party Tree 5 times over.
As you enter and you light the candle, there's actually almost a carved recess into the tree where you can place this candle, and it almost serves to reflect the light outward into the inside of this tree. And you see a flight of steps carved into the hollow of the tree that go up and around almost as high as the tallest branches within the tree, and lining this path of literal hobbit gold. The mushrooms are sprouting like smallpox. I don't know.
Tryptophobia, that's wonderful.
Love it.
But you see that there are some freshly bored holes that probably as she picks, she replants spores in these sections. You see the remains of a campfire here in the middle that seem to be helping to preserve and keep the mushrooms warm even in the winter. It is a veritable forest of mushrooms in here. The healthiest pantry you've ever seen, of the funnest guys that you could ever encounter.
That was
Oh
a
my
spore
gosh.
attempt at a joke.
Ooh.
Well, lads, we have struck the mother lode. I would rather
Barry?
this treasure than all the treasure that's been rumored to be inside Bag End.
Open your bag, Barry. I'm gonna start chucking them in from the top row.
Hold on. Let's not be too quick about that, because I suspect that Miss Gerda keeps a pretty close eye on her crop here. I certainly know I would if I had such a lovely arrangement here.
No.
How about this? Let's take the mushrooms that we need to make the stew, so we don't get thrown in Hobbit jail, and leave us something as like a trade.
All right, that might not be a bad idea. Let's see what I have in my satchel.
We just all consecutively dump all of our junk on one table and just kind of go through it and just,
No, just empty your packs. Just empty them and fill them with mushrooms. This is like
yeah, we'll leave all our worthless junk and we'll take.
We got dried meats, we got veggies, we got some chamomile, a little bit of old crushed rosemary, we got a marigold or two, which he doesn't actually leave,
think
right?
we can leave anything, but maybe we can take enough, gents, maybe we can take enough that she doesn't notice. I mean, look, it's filled, it's lined the whole entire, everywhere with it. Maybe we just need to, I don't know, like she's done, plant them back in.
Well, we need enough to feed the entire party too. We have to remember that it's not just one pot of stew we're making here. We might have trial and error. If we've decided to make the stew, we need to make it right. We're gonna have to try probably. I'm not gonna be eating any of it, but
What did that, what's her name?
Delilah?
Nope. It's
Delia?
close. Delia.
Delia,
Back at the Green Dragon, she said something about how long each bushel that Miss Boffin brought, how long it would last them. Do you remember, anyone remember how long the haul she would give them would last?
I think it
about
lasted
a day or two.
several days. I think she said something about she goes out whenever they run out, every several days. I'm not sure if there was a specific time frame there, but
How popular it is. I suppose if we get enough to match her satchel, right? If we have as much as she had, I imagine
We'd have enough for a bunch of people 2
Right.
days.
It's popular, right? It's sold out
So-
right quick.
If we only need it for one party, we just need half of what she had.
Well, I'd like to try to get as much as she had, just in case it's that good. Plus, we're going to have trial and
true.
error making the stew.
It's true. Is there enough missing in terms of mushrooms from this just treasure trove that if we took as much as she might have had in her basket, it would still be very noticeable?
This is a huge tree, and they're lining the steps that go all the way up.
Like,
it could go all the way to the top.
We'll say, Barry, go ahead and make a nature check for me.
Barry is gonna examine and see what he thinks about trying to take some mushrooms.
So, as you take a look at how she's cared for these mushrooms, and it definitely looks like she's cared for these mushrooms, there may have been a few in here when it was found, but based on, first of all, the enormous mushrooms that you saw tumble out of her basket, as well as the holes that have been bored into this tree, even just the panel that had to slide in. She obviously spends a ton of time and effort maintaining this area and keeping these mushrooms well stocked. So based on what you know about foraging versus farming mushrooms, she likely has a very good idea about her crop and how much there is. You don't think you could take very many at all without it being noticed. And definitely the more you take, the more likely it is that she would notice somewhere missing.
All right, lads. Here's what I think. She obviously takes good care of her crop here. She knows what's growing and what isn't. I say we take as much as we need and we leave whatever we can in exchange, and maybe perhaps some kind of a note or a token to show her that we're not interested in exploiting this any further than we have to right now. So we take what we need, maybe a satchel full or maybe more, and be done with it, and that'll be all.
Right. What are we going to leave her, though? Because these mushrooms are right pricey, I imagine.
Ooh.
Who's got anything
I've
valuable?
got 2 marbles and copper coin.
Well, I've got what I've got in my satchel. I've got a few herbs and spice and things that we could leave her. Not exactly worth a rich crop of mushrooms, but on the other hand, we aren't exactly cleaning her out entirely, and we don't plan on coming back and taking more, so there's a good faith gift there.
Let's just hope Sheriff Bolger don't ask us to do this again.
Well, I'm hoping we'll be done with Sheriff Bolger sooner rather than later.
That's ominous.
We'll put him in the stew. Yeah, put him in the stew.
Banjo always with immediately violence. Kill the daughter.
It's just funny.
Put Bolger in the stew.
It's just funny.
Banjo,
Anyways,
more like guillotine.
I know, it's not good. It's
don't
not
know.
good.
What?
Anyways, a moral dilemma for a young hobbit.
Barry is going to go ahead and proceed to empty his gathering satchel, and he's going to pile the herbs, neatly, and he's going to start picking mushrooms.
I'm going to whip out my, I know that I have, because I've mentioned it before, my paper and pen, that I have, and I'm going to start on the note.
Oh, what's
and
the
just,
note going to say?
I think the note should read something like, "So long and thanks for all the mushrooms." Signed, the Bumbling Bees.
Nice.
And then, obviously, just maybe an arrow pointing to where the
Where the stuff is all dropped.
the stuff is. And then I'm just going to sign my full name at the end. No, I will not. I will not put my name. I'll put the Bumbling Bees is what I'll.
He signs his name and then scratches it out.
Yeah,
right.
just like twice.
Scratched out.
Probably.
I don't think any of us mentioned our names to her anyways.
No,
Oh no, we definitely did.
we just mentioned our faces. She knows what we look like, but so hopefully we don't bump into her ever again.
No. When we were discussing, we definitely mentioned each other by name multiple times in front of her.
Yeah, we'll see.
Again, it's I don't know if there's a Hobbit phone book where you can look up someone's name and be like, "That's where they live. I knew it."
Well, you
I've
probably
come
have
for
to have a
them.
last name too, huh? Anyways,
Maybe,
we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see what kind of repercussions this this theft has.
I'm very interested to see how much trouble we can get in. I'm so down. Let's do it.
Okay.
So after I finish the note, I'm going to continue help filling bags and just surmise how much we need and try to maybe pack in.
Before I pick any mushroom, each time I'm asking Barry if it's a good one or if I should leave it.
That's
Is this
fine.
one good, Barry?
Nope, that's the bad
What-
one.
This one?
Oh yeah, that looks very good. Yeah.
Okay, here you go. What about this one over here?
I think I can a little bit more grow in there, lad.
Well, what about this one over here then?
That's a good one. Yeah,
All right, here you go. This one over here?
Or you know what, lad? Tell you what, I'll pick the mushrooms and hand them to you, and you put them in the satchel.
All right.
How about you hold the flashlight and I'll do the work?
I got the flint in one hand, steel in the other hand.
Hold the flashlight still! Hold it still!
Hold it still. No, look, you're not shining it where I'm working. You need to aim it right there. See? Don't shine it in my face. That's not helping at all.
You know what? Just go inside and have a lemonade.
Don't tell your ma I need her help.
Get your brother.
Oh, boy.
Right, so we fill up 2 satchels full? What do you say?
I'm filling my herbalist satchel full to the brim.
I do want to try to make or talk to Barry about it. What do you think about perchance going back and backfilling? You know, doing half the work for her, or do you think that would be too long?
Oh, I suppose we could do some of that. Try to. I'm not exactly a farmer, mind. I don't know too much about it, but I've seen it done once or twice. Just chatting with some mushroom farmers out in Needle. So I suppose we could give a crack at it. I hope we don't do more harm than good, though.
So Barty at that time is going to peek outside and try to look at the sky. And it's getting closer to what, like 4 or 5 o'clock-ish? It's getting rather late, though, gents. I mean, it took us a solid 2.5, 3 hours to get here. And it's going to be dark here in like 30 minutes. Just something to think about.
That's true. Well, I hope the mushroom market doesn't totally crash after the shortage we're about to put on it.
Entire career.
Breaking news. Hobbiton experiencing extreme mushroom shortage.
Thanks to the bumbling bees.
Inflation rates have risen through the roof. Yeah, I
say we burn the tree.
Yeah, she may be intimately familiar with the crop, but that doesn't mean there's not plenty to tide her over.
Yeah, that's true. I say we don't do it. We just hike it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go. I don't want to be in the woods after dark.
And do we want to cover our trails?
We're not going to cover our trail. It takes way too long.
That's just true. We will be not careful. Let's go.
So as you fill up your satchels and you write your note and you leave this hollow tree filled with mushrooms, now much less full, but nonetheless still a veritable smorgasbord of fungi, you take off. Let's just to preempt this, let's go ahead and have you do your journey roll and tell me where you're heading to. Are you planning to go back toward Hobbiton? Are you going to try and cross country, head back to Mycoldelving? What would you? How would you like to set out at this point?
I mean, we want to get out of the woods, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, what do we want to go to? Because if we happen upon what's-her-face...
We do not want to run into her.
We don't want to run into
anybody at the Green Dragon.
We need to be secretive. These mushrooms are...
We also never tried Boffin's Croc.
Yeah,
so...
we have no idea what it
so,
tastes like.
yeah, I think we... Okay. So...
Let's go, Banjo. He's cooking.
What if we take a page out of Gerda's book and we find a hiding spot for these mushrooms? With Barry's herbalist knowledge, we can find a good spot so they won't spoil to keep for the evening. Or we can just keep it at our house.
It's already
we have a rented
Banjo.
house. We could place them there, and then in the meantime, while they're in a safe location, we can spend one more day in Hobbiton getting information about the recipe while we have the stock chilling.
I've got something to add to that, actually. That's a great plan. First of all, Banjo, for a little one, you're a smart one.
What'd I say?
Immediately negates it.
So, I don't intend on trying the soup. So, what if we have you two go and go back to the Green Dragon? And if you trust me, I can try making it back to Mycoldelving. Or if you like me to guard the mushrooms in our little house that we have in Hobbiton, I'm happy to stay with the mushrooms and guard them, or make my way back to Hobbiton and then you guys just meet up with me. What do you think?
Ooh. Split the party? Dude, you'll die. You'll die.
I'm not gonna die. You
if
don't
we
die
split
in Hobbiton.
It's gonna be a TPKO. Or wait, PTK. Total party annihilation,
TPKO.
man.
I think that might not be such a bad idea there, Barty. I think what we could do is we could all go together back to the home that we're renting from Delia. We could leave you there with the mushrooms so you can keep an eye on them. Make sure nobody goes knocking around or prying eyes, or maybe perchance if Miss Boffin might have gone back to that tree afterwards just to check on it. She finds the mushrooms and immediately goes storming back to find us. I don't know what might happen. But then Banjo and I can go to the Green Dragon Inn and see if we can't get a bowl of soup and try it so we have some kind of an idea of what we're looking for.
I can do that.
Can go back.
So straight back to the house.
Right.
I could even, straight back to the house.
Right.
And then you two go to the Green Dragon and just bring me back some food, please.
So once
Right.
we get, or anywhere when we're around like any sort of residential area, we want to be sneaky, right? Or how obvious would it be that our
Right.
packs are laden with secret mushrooms? Like,
Secret
I just don't want to be
mushrooms.
caught by anyone at all. I don't talk to
Well,
anybody.
you have the advantage of coming back after dark at this point.
In the dark. Yeah. But we also know that the mushrooms have been restocked, so they will have Boffin's crock ready to go, especially because they've had time to make it.
Exactly. I think that's a good
So
plan.
should I roll our journey thing and see how it goes, or
Yeah, so I just need two things. Which direction are you leaving Bend Bowl Wood? Are you going east, west, north, south, or some combination? And then I need a journey roll.
We don't want to take the highway we did, right? Because that one goes straight through both Hobbiton.
It's not
No, I guess
exactly
the
a
Green
highway,
Dragon
so it was
is
kind
one,
of a footpath through Bend Bowl down
Yeah,
to
I think we'll do
Overhill. And that was
Overhill's probably what we don't want to go through, right?
I
We
would
want to
say
go straight
just go
to
back the way we came.
Yeah.
The way we came is basically what I was thinking.
okay.
right, here comes the journey roll, boys. That's a 7.
We're dead.
Oh, he's
We'll find out exactly what that means next time
Oh
when
no.
we come back.
You snake!
Oh dear. We're all dead.
Oh, you guys, I love traveling. I'm sure nothing's going to go wrong. It's going to be so nice.
It's the
Oh,
shy.
it's going to be a
Guys,
nice little walk.
we're 4 sessions in and we only just now got the mushrooms that we're supposed to get in session
I'm
1.
kind of stoked though. That was really cool. I like the tree so much.
I think we're finally getting into our characters too. Like, we're finally getting into their personalities and who they are individually. Because it's always a bit awkward at first, but I think we're finally... This is awesome.
stuff.
So with that,
guys,
we're getting
knowing
awesome.
that you're heading back through Overhill as the sun sets, we will close the book on this session 4. Looking forward to seeing you all next time. Blunders and Flagons is a creation of David Lennox in partnership with Daniel and Drew Lennox and Jerry Hoppmann. Content for this adventure is compiled from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings universe. The system and certain names and details of this adventure were adapted from the Free League's work, the Lord of the Rings Roleplaying and Shire Adventure Starter Set for 5e. Sounds in this episode were sourced in part from freesound.org under the Creative Commons and Attribution License. Atmosphere and other sounds and music were derived from Monument Studios' Fantasy Music and Cinematic Atmosphere collections under the Creative Commons license. Other music was created using Suno Premium. Detailed attribution in the description. Thank you for listening. Remember, all that is gold does not glitter.